The Supreme Court has delivered a landmark ruling on governors' powers and responsibilities regarding the bills that are presented to him or her by a state legislature for decisions under Article 200 of the Constitution of India. It's certainly an important judgment because interpretation of Article 200 becomes very, very important. We have former Governor Margaret Alva joining us live. Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to NDTV. As a former governor, how do you look at this judgment? Do you think it is trying to give some kind of timeline to the functioning of a constitution authority such as a governor of a state?
I don't know about timeline. I can say one thing, that this judgment is a landmark judgment. It was much needed, and I think it's timely. For months, not for months, for years now, we have watched Raj Bhavans functioning on their own with no regard to constitutional provisions, to legislative procedures, and considering themselves, if I may say so, some kind of dictators in Raj Bhavans. I've been in a Raj Bhavan. We know our limits, we know our duties. But what was happening in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Delhi before that, in a number of these Raj Bhavans was absolutely atrocious. I think the Supreme Court has stepped in time, and with a heavy hand. I welcome the judgment of the Supreme Court, and I believe that it will now set the standards for Raj Bhavans all over the country.
Ms. Alva, the question really is that inaction of governors is judicially reviewable is one of the views of the Supreme Court, and governors cannot sit on the bills and files forever. That is the point that has been made, and a decision has to be made on the bills within a time frame. But are you not then bounding the role of a governor?
What are you talking about? Can a governor sit on 10 bills passed by the state legislature, which is an elected body representing the people, for 3 years? I mean, it's unheard of. The governor has a duty. He has 4 options under the Constitution. He must, first of all, legislation that comes, he has to sign and approve. If he has any doubts or any concerns, he can send it back for a second time. It has to be looked at and passed by the legislature. If it is passed a second time, he has no choice but to accept it. The third is when he decides to send it to the president for whatever reason. But it cannot be for 3 years and 4 years. There has to be a limit. The term of an assembly is 5 years. And you sit over bills for 3 years? Under what pretext?
But ma'am, the larger question is that you have been a governor yourself. That was the times of the Congress party. In politics, as they say, it's a game of thrones. This judgment is setting precedent. As and when the Congress or any of the opposition combinations come to power, again the role of the governor of similar nature. I mean, this judgment will be held as a benchmark. Will you not be worried then?
Not worried at all. I don't think any of our governors have behaved this way. I had in two states, BJP chief ministers. But you are supposed to be a friend, philosopher, and guide. If you have differences, call and talk to them. Discuss the issues. I can tell you, the governor of Karnataka, who's a BJP in Raj Bhavan, recently I asked him, I said, why are you holding up those 2 bills? Then he explained to me what the issues were, and he sent them back. They were clarified by the state government, and he approved them. See, that's how things work. You cannot just sit like a Mauni Baba in Raj Bhavan for 3 years over 10 bills. And the Supreme Court has clearly said, and I quote the Supreme Court, he said it is illegal and erroneous, the decision of the governor. The Supreme Court has very clearly said it is erroneous, his decision. One. Secondly, I'm asking you, if you have objections, send it back. If the Assembly passes it a second time under the Constitution, you are required to approve it. How long can you sit over it? I'm asking you, governments may differ. I can tell you, there's the famous Bihar case.
Yes.
Sardar Butta Singh was
That's right.
the governor. He advised the dismissal of the state government. You
That's
remember
right.
that? It was dismissed.
The most
the
infamous case, as they say,
The-
which shaped the role of the governor and made it about his discretionary powers, which has to be cut.
But the point is that the state assembly was restored and Butta Singh was asked to go home. He resigned and went home. That was the Congress government which told its own governor to quit and go.
Okay.
See, there have been cases where governors have overstepped their constitutional limits and have paid the price. And I would expect Governor Ravi, in face of this judgment of the Supreme Court, to have the good sense to resign and go home. Because
right.
for all practical purposes, he will be persona non grata in the Raj Bhavan in Tamil Nadu.